Lately we've been getting a lot of COVID-19 services to disinfect. I do have a ULV fogger,
Uh-huh.
and so uh, I try to run, the correct procedures by the CDC. But I've done all my research and everything on how to effectively, do a COVID-19 cleanup. Um, and so this is going to be our sixth one, and we're getting calls all the time. It's crazy, but then at the same time, we charge what we charge, uh, and it's intense. Because I'll give you an example. We did one 3 days ago. The guy, it was at a law firm. He was in Dallas with three other people in the car. They contracted COVID-19 in Dallas, came back. He was in his office for 19 hours, and they called me the day after he went to the hospital when he got tested. And we went out there, and knowing that coronavirus is in there. And I mean, do you know how intense that was? I mean, it was just, ooh, it's like one little mistake. I kept telling my employees, like, we've been through training. Don't touch your face. Whatever you do, don't touch your face. You're gonna start touching your face, because we have zones. We have zones for all that. And so if you want to touch your face, go to the clean zone. We'll spray you down. And yeah. So but it's good money. It's really good money, and it's what's bringing the business up for us.
Are you
But
finding,
scary at the same time.
how are you protecting your employees from knowing that you're sending them into a situation like that where there is an active virus?
We're wearing the hazmat suits, with the hoodie, full face respirators, um, shoes, what do they call it, shoe coverings. We're double wrapping our gloves, uh, and that's how we're doing it. So just having the full face respirator is it's been real good. So we've done a 6-1, and so none of us has got it. So we're obviously doing something right, but at the same time, it's intense. It's like an adrenaline rush, just bad, but not in a good way. You know what I mean? It's really
Yeah.
scary.
How are you dealing with the emotional aspects of that after a client or an employee has been in that space and they expect you to have some kind of calm in the storm?
Ah, Good question. I don't, I've held my composure, freaking out, because I can't freak out in front of my employees. I can't freak out with the customer, because if you do that, then that looks bad on you, and it seems like you don't know what you're doing. I've stayed calm the whole time, and everybody's been following my lead. Um, and so we keep social distancing inside the building, because basically we got 2 levels of decontamination. So we go in there and we clean first. We clean the whole areas, the whole building, up and down, and then after that, then we fog it, because there's no point of fogging if you're not gonna go and clean. There's the only thing the fog does is it's places where we miss, and so that's the only thing that what it does with fogging and stuff. But you got to clean. You have to clean the whole area. I mean, I'm talking about the walls, pictures. I mean, anything, desks, phones. I mean, everything. That takes a while. So I charge what I charge, and no one's everybody's on the green. They wanted out. The customer that called me 4 days ago, talking about the COVID-19. She was real panicking, and we did the job, and she just kept saying, "Oh, thank you." We even had to clean out the 2 of her vans that they were in, and so and then we got another COVID-19 job, probably here, I think tomorrow. The next day, I haven't heard back from them. They're gonna call me here pretty soon. It's a 24,000 square foot city hall from Kennedy, Texas. So yeah, crazy, just crazy. I know they got the city hall, the courtrooms, and 20 cop cars.
So
And so,
are you doing anything as far as your employees go where after they are done with a job and they come back to you? I know that you've kept your composure and you've kept from freaking out, as you said, but what about your employees when they come back to you after the job? Is there some kind of a debriefing or something that you go through in order to ease their mind or give them reminders or find out how it went for them? Or what are you doing as far as that decompression period?
okay, after we're done, we do get together. We talk about it. I want to know everybody's feelings. I want to know everybody's outputs. I want to know if anybody, how everybody did. We try to watch everybody's backs. That's what we're doing. You know, I'm prior military, and that's how I'm teaching them. You know, and so we've been getting some really good feedback. But they'll do the job, but they're scared. They're scared. I don't blame them. You know, and I tell them, you don't have to do this job. It's not for everybody. You know, but no, it's the money's good. That's why they do it. And we're constantly training, uh, because we're getting more calls now. There's been a spike here in San Antonio. So there's to 2,000 new cases now within the week, and my phone's been going off the hook. And so I'm hardly even doing house cleaning services. You know, it's all been COVID. So
How have you prevented damage? One of the biggest concerns that I'm getting right now, and I'm on the telephone a lot every day, and it's customers and it's companies that are saying we had a team come in and they did some COVID cleaning and they left damage everywhere. it's they can't find the right cleaning solution, so they're using bleach and they're spraying stuff. And
no, see,
it's not
no.
although
You
it's
can't.
not eating the paint off wherever it's dripped, then it's leaving
Yeah,
like
yeah.
stains and whatever.
Oh,
And there are house cleaning companies. I know it would never happen here, but there are house cleaning companies that have sprayed like 4K TV monitors, not the glassy kind, but the film kind. It's got like a film screen on it, leaving that wet for 10 minutes and it just dissolves the screen. So I'm getting a lot of damage reports from people that are experimenting with COVID cleaning. And I'm curious to know if you've had any damage so far or what your experience has been.
I have done my research. I've done my research on a lot of these disinfectants. EPA. I've gone on to the CDC website. I've looked at all the different types of disinfectants. The one I use two types. I use Shockwave. Shockwave is a really good disinfectant because it goes away, evaporates in 10 minutes. You don't have to wipe it down. It's just air dry and it dries quick. And then I use another chemical called Enviro Cleanse A. Um, the thing I like about Enviro Cleanse A is that it's not harmful to humans. You can inhale it. It's not gonna do anything, but it's an extremely strong disinfectant that you put in your coal fogger and spray. Those are the only two well, I mean, I've tried more, and I didn't like, and that's why when you asked that question, I knew what you were talking about. Um, you need there's disinfectants out there that dry quickly, and those are the two that I've done my research. Those are the two that I saw that I was like, I'm gonna try that. It's Shockwave and Enviro Cleanse A. Those are the only two that has worked for us. It doesn't leave no damages. You spray it, and within 10 minutes, bam, it's dried up. So it's very effective. It's a very effective.
Now, you did mention that you were cleaning before you were doing the disinfecting. Are you charging that as two separate
Yeah.
services or are you charging it as one and the same?
No, I'm charging one and the same. If okay, I've got different options for different situations. If there's COVID in there, I'm charging between $2 to $5 a square foot. Okay, I have to. This is our lives that we're talking about. One little small wrong move, we can get it, and then we're screwed. You know what I mean? So that and I got to watch out for my employees too. I mean, I we've all agreed that this is a biohazard cleanup, and hazard pay needs to be in part of that. And I don't blame them because it's scary. It's really scary knowing that there's coronavirus where this guy sat for 18 hours in his room and See, you can't freak out. You got to freak out. You got to stay focused, clean, and don't touch your face. That's why we wear hazmat suits, because people will start doing this, they'll get itchy because it's hot. Hazmat suits, it gets hot, so you start sweating and want to itch and everything. So
So you're doing your regular cleaning in the hazmat, the full hazmat gear, and then you're disinfecting.
mm-hmm.
So you're doing the entire clean in the full hazmat gear. Okay.
That is the proper procedure through the CDC website to say to do. And what's going on this? Okay, there's another problem I'm having, and I've seen it in San Antonio. There's a lot of these companies that are going in there. They're not cleaning up. They're just spraying. They're just fogging.
That's one of the biggest complaints we're getting as well.
Yeah, and that's not, no, it's not going to do anything. You're not going to kill the virus like that. That's not what it's designed for. You have to clean. You have to do a whole full-fledged cleaning before you start spraying. The spraying is just a little added protection in case you miss, spots that you didn't get. That's all it is.
Well, the reason I ask about the hazmat suits is because one of the complaints that we're getting is people that are going in their full gear to do the cleaning are passing out because they're too hot inside the suits, and they don't have a chance to take off the suit and the duct tape and all that stuff that's air sealed their suit together, so that they can use the bathroom and stuff like that. They're saying we're not completely secure if we take off our suit and put it back on because they don't have the second person there to help them. And we've got a lot of complaints like that as well. I'm just curious to know if you've had any run-ins or anything like that you're dealing with, because it takes a long time to clean these places, especially with the disinfecting element.
Yeah.
I think we lost Marco.
I was going to say, I'll never complain about cleaning in a mask when I think about them cleaning in a hazmat suit.
Well, we're dealing with unprecedented situations here. This has never been our norm before, and we're dealing with things that have never happened in the cleaning industry before. Again, never has everyone all quit at once, and then never at any time in the history of anyone's cleaning did everyone need a deep cleaning simultaneously. So we're dealing with all different kinds of things. It's like, whoa, everywhere we look, there's this new surprise. And then to try to navigate the things that none of us have dealt with, where most average house cleaners are not cleaning in hazmat suits. And so those like Marco that are, we've got those issues where, now you have to deal with a whole different, now we're dealing with emotional struggles as well, where you have people that feel like they just put their life on the line for 4 hours while they went in and did a cleaning and then did a disinfecting. And as the boss, you have a responsibility to take care of your people. Are you going to send them in a situation? And we've never had to do this before, where, unless of course you are like crime scene cleanup or something like that, where that is your specialty. But we've never sent our people into situations knowing that we're putting your life on the line here in this moment. So there are some issues that have to be addressed. So, hey, Marco, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know what's going on. Losing the connection.
Well, I was curious to know, and I forget what the question was, but I was curious to know if you've had any experience with people passing out or whatever in their hazmat suits while they're working for that longer period of time.
Yeah, it gets hot. I'm gonna admit, it gets hot. What we started doing is taking 20-minute breaks. Go in there, take a 20-minute, because we have zones. We red tape zones, okay? And so if you're gonna leave, you go to the dumping zone where we have bags, black hazard bags, where you're putting everything in there. You're putting your gloves in there. You're taking everything out, and then we go to another zone where we're disinfecting your whole body, head to toe, and then you go to the safe zone where you can use your phone or whatever. Go outside and cool down. You have to take breaks. It gets hot. I'm not kidding. It's hot. It's just one of those that it's common sense. If you're getting hot, feel like passing out, step out. But the problem with that is you can't step out too much, because we have enough hazmat suits, but those hazmat suits are not cheap. Mm-hmm. You're paying $15-$20 per hazmat suit, and I've got to supply everybody double. and you're going back in and out like that, that's why we drink a lot of water. Drink a lot of water right before you go in there. And just, if you get hot, step out. Just step out and for a few minutes. But it's more like just suck it up. No one's passed out. No one's been close to passing out. But it's the type of hazmat suits that you get. The ones that we get as the DuPont. I got to look at the model number at a Granger. I get on the Granger's website.
It's like a Type C.
I have to get on the website and let you know, but it's light. It's not as heavy. You don't get as hot, and so and that works. But
is it like Tyvek?
Oh, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I have to go. I have to go. I don't see. I don't. I learned through Jenkins Environmental about all this. They took me on under the wing and taught me about hazmat suits. They taught me a lot of things, and that's why I got into the business.
Gotcha.
But they didn't teach me anything about different hazmat suits, and I knew there was different hazmat suits. And but you just do your research. It's there's some for like particle dust, and some's for for the COVID, for like viruses, for mold. Asbestos, there's different types of hazmat suits that you get. The one that you need to get is for like mold, and the mold hazmat. Those are the ones that we use.
So when you go to do the cleaning, and you have the cleaning and then the disinfecting, is that a once and done? Because I know with the cleaning you have repeat cleaning, but do you come back on a regular basis to do like a follow-up disinfecting, or how does that work?
I've promoted that, but no one seemed to want it. They just want it one time, and it's just like, I try to explain to them, one time it's good, peace of mind. You have yourself peace of mind, but having a reoccurring is the best way to keep everybody safe in your building. But no, doesn't seem like anybody's interested in that. They're just like, oh, it's too expensive and everything. And it's just like, no, it's not going to be like it was the first time. I mean, you had coronavirus in here, so we have to take those proper procedures for us not to get infected, and to get rid of the waste disposal, like everything, all the towels that we I stopped using the towels because the microfiber towels, like, it's expensive. We have to throw them away, so we just started using paper towels. And so and then we just put it in the trash bag, and then I take it to a buddy of mine. He owns a biohazard disposable waste disposable. So he helps me out on that.
So let me ask a weird, Rich. Let me ask a weird question. If you went to one of these places where you did the cleaning and then you did the disinfecting, and they hired you back to do a regular clean after you had already disinfected, how would you clean differently than you did the first time?
Okay, good question. That's a good question. I'm gonna tell you right now. It's where's my Zoom? Hang on. Okay. I'll tell you right now. It's all psychological, okay? This is, to be honest with you, yes, it's gonna kill the virus, but the whole hazmat suit, the spraying, everything, honestly, it's I think it's just psychological. It's people, they feel like that they can get rid of it if they had this done. And I know what these chemicals do. I know what they all do.
Hey, we're losing you, man. Come back to wherever you were standing or sitting. You had an internet signal there. We don't have you now.
Some of it, what we have to do, and like basic.
No, I think we lost you. Man, I hate when that happens. That's awful. This was really interesting. I have heard so many interesting stories over the last couple of weeks from from clients and from customers and from people who have hired COVID teams to come in and clean. One of the horrific situations that we're dealing with is there are a lot of people that are out there that are doing COVID cleans because, like Marco just said, there's a peace of mind that comes with that. And I think it's really important now more than at any other time to educate our customers on what exactly that comfort looks like and what it costs. Most recently, there was hang on, Marco, we'll get back to you in a minute, but there was a church that hired a company to come in and sell them the electrostatic sprayers and the solutions and all that stuff for their church. And they were going to, between the services on Sunday, they were going to go ahead and disinfect everything and hit all the hot spots and make sure that it was clean for the next group that came in. And of course, they did not have a team of people that was trained and qualified to do that. And so they had volunteers from the church put on the suits and do the disinfecting. And then what happened was they called a week later and they said, all of our pews are ruined and all of the fabric on the pews are ruined and the floors are ruined. And what on earth are we supposed to do now? And the challenge was they had people that weren't trained and people that weren't certified, people that were experimenting and leaving the spray, however much spray they put on, they were leaving it on there for up to 10 minutes. And it was just literally dissolving the finishes on the furnishings that were inside this church. And they ruined paintings and they ruined, all kinds of things that should not have been sprayed or sprayed that way or sprayed with that amount of stuff or however they sprayed it. And the people calling me were unclear of the brands of cleaning solutions that they were using because they didn't have that information. But they said very clearly, we just had volunteers from our church come in. Like, what do we do now? Okay, well, you're going to have a fundraiser in your church and raise some money and replace your stuff because you did not have a team of people that were qualified and certified to do this. So I really want to encourage you guys to get as much information as you can and to not take this lightly because these are unprecedented times. And although there's a lot of pressure where people will say, will you come in my house and will you disinfect? What does that mean? What does that mean? And why are you disinfecting?
Yes.
Because like Marco said, it is psychological. But the reality is a lot of people don't even know what it means. And they want to see the dog and pony show. They want people to show up in hazmat suits and have the foggers and have the steamers and all that stuff.
And it's not necessary.
We do not have any scientific proof that we've killed the virus. And so
that's true.
People are saying, can you guarantee that the virus is gone? Like, is my mother going to be fine now? No. The only thing I can promise you from here on out is that your mother will get sick again. That's the only thing I can promise you because we all get sick from time to time. And so whether it's today, next week, next month, next year, I promise you she will get sick again. This, whatever it is we're doing today is not going to cure her for the rest of her life. There are other germs.
You want to know what the secret is on that?
Yes, tell us.
Okay, this is the secret. This is how you don't ruin everything. Get a separate ULV fogger. Put in hydrogen peroxide to spray down first and wipe everything down. Hydrogen peroxide, believe it or not, do that for level 1 decontamination. Because if you just have a spray bottle and you got people spraying the walls or spraying the doors or spraying wherever, it's going to take you a while. It's going to take you a long time, and you have to charge for that time. Well, we started doing it. We're experimenting, and we used hydrogen peroxide to spray everything, and then we just go and wipe it down and cleaning it, and then we go and disinfect everything. And so we haven't had any damage at all. I've been hearing all the horror stories, and I've been finding out what the chemicals they're using, and I'll do my research on the chemicals, there's a certain type of chemicals that are in this that you don't use for paintings or for pictures or for just for whatever. And the one thing you don't do is what I've seen most of these companies do. They'll spray and they'll leave the liquid on there. If it's not type of disinfectant that dissolves really quickly, they'll just leave it there. Well, you can't leave harsh disinfectant on objects, on items, if it's going to get ruined.
Well, and I think that goes back to what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago when we did our training on the chemical safety, because even though we talked about pH balance and we talked about different surfaces, and we haven't done our surfaces training yet, but there are only certain chemicals you can use on certain surfaces.
Yes.
And so the rules still apply even if there's COVID, right? The rules still apply. You can't spray something so harsh on a surface that won't allow for something that harsh and leave it there for 10 minutes and not expect that you're going to dissolve through the finish or the sealant or whatever it is that's on that surface. And so when that property damage happens, here's the challenge. And I can't reinforce this enough, but I'm going to say it one more time. If the products are in your hand, they are in your care, custody, and control. And you will not be covered by your insurance policy because they are expecting that if you go into the customer's house, you are in charge of whatever it is that you're doing. And so if you go in selling this service, you are expected to know what you're doing. And so you're expected to know the pH balances and you're expected to know the surfaces. And if you do any damage whatsoever, that property is in your care, custody, and control. And so unless it was just an accident, and if you sprayed something on there and they look at the damage and it looks like you sprayed something on there, they're going to say that was intentional. Someone intentionally sprayed that. We are not covering that. And right now, one of the biggest calls I get every single day, and I have been absolutely bombarded since this whole COVID thing started. I've never been busier in my life. And it's calls coming in from all over the world with all different kinds of these situations. But what happens is this. And I've talked to a lot of insurance adjusters. They said, we can see with our eyes that somebody just sprayed this on here. There's no way we're going to cover that. And so the homeowner is saying, well, I hired this company, and the company's saying, well, I'm not paying for it because the customer asked for the disinfectant. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, well, then again, that's your reputation on the line. If somebody goes to social media and they start blasting you and your company to say, this company came in and all they did was damage all my property. So we have a lot of house cleaners now, and this is sad, but they're getting out of the business because their reputation has been so damaged from the damage that they've left behind.
And so you know what that's caused, right? That's caused lack of research. Lack of research. There's so much research out there. There's so many different chemicals out there. I spent about a week or two all night. I hardly get any sleep to study this. And the two that I found out most effective that doesn't do damage is Shockwave and EnviroCleanse 8. Those are the two ones that will not damage anything. I mean, I have fogged, and especially the one that a couple of days ago where the guy had spent 18 hours in his office. I mean, I overkilled it. I sprayed just so much in there. And it didn't damage. It doesn't damage things. That's what I like about those two products. But it's a lack of research because people don't. There's so much out there on these different type of chemicals. It's almost like impossible to learn each and every one of them. You know, and that's where people get discouraged and they'll just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna buy this, and then they use it, and then they're messing up. They're ruining things like you said. We haven't had one. I got to learn from Jenkins Environmental. They taught me a lot. I know the manager there, and so I told him I wanted to get in the business, and if he can give me a little hints, and he would invite me to the office, and they've got fake rooms, and they teach them that that's how they train their employees and stuff, and he was telling me about the different disinfectants, what they do and stuff, and that's how I learned. And then that's when I started doing my research, and then I found EnviroCleanse 8 through a supplier that actually got on my website here in San Antonio, called me and said, hey, this disinfectant is just not just a disinfectant. It's you can breathe it. It's not harmful to humans. And it's on because I buy.
Which one is that one, Marco?
5-gallon buckets, and it's on there. I've even tested it without my mask, and I'm fogging, and it doesn't burn my eyes. It doesn't burn my lungs. It's clean. It's real clean.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. This was really enlightening, and I think we all learned a lot from your experiences. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Eloisa, you had a question.
Yes, I couldn't hear which ones are the products that he is using?
Shockwave and Enviro. I'll have him type it inside our chat room, our chat box.
Appreciate it.
Cool.
I would like to comment about what's going on
Yes.
for me. Well, personally, I feel this past week much like down than I have felt ever. Like I feel my emotional state going down and forcing myself to go up and then go down. And it has been hard in that sense. But I have a lot of resources and I really take good care of myself, so I did. But I had a client on Saturday that was amazingly abusive with my workers. And it is a long story, but it was very abusive and very disturbing. They were, I would say, not respecting social distancing, moving their things away, pushing their things all around the house, sending them upstairs and downstairs. And so it was a total disruption. And we have, an estimated time and they were supposed to finish at 4:30. And at 1, I called the client and said, the team is gonna take a 10 minutes break. And the client went really crazy and said, I need them out by 1:45. And I said, well, you hired us to do this job until 4:30. He says, well, I need them out at 2. That's what I'm saying right now. I'm at 1:45. I have a client of mine. My client's coming at 2. I don't want them here. So it was really unprecedentedly stressful. I was on my way to visit, but I decided not to do it because it was, I wouldn't make it on time. And I was trying to stay as calm as possible and as respectful as possible. But, so the client wrote a complaint very long. And they didn't do this and they didn't do that. And my partner needed to go back and redo this and redo that. And they didn't clean. They were supposed to clean and they didn't. So I explained him, which we have problems with her, not with him. But I explained him, yes, it was stressful from the beginning. And for the very first time in 17 years, I said, because he said, this is the worst company they have worked with, or the least professional. And we really do a huge amount of effort to be professional and to keep it, and to be responsive and to be there and to be solving problems in that. And basically I wrote a letter that took me 2 hours to respond in a proper way. But I started basically the letter saying, as miserable as it was for you and your partner to work with us, it was for us to work with you. And this is the very first time in my life that I have that I don't care about social response, about giving me a 0 on stars. And I realized things are changing. Like we are not supposed to accept mistreatment from our clients, which has happened before. And then I just let it go, or I just said, well, I'm so sorry, we couldn't meet your expectations or whatever. Things are changing. We really are adapting to that. I don't mean to be never, ever disrespectful to a client. But this was a very hard situation and they were very disrespectful. No limits. About shouting, about saying names. They said stupid to my workers twice. And when I told him, well, it was over the phone. I talked with him over the phone and I said, well, your wife told you stupid twice. He said, I have cameras all over and I have videotaped everything, and she was never ever disrespectful. Then I thought, I'm just gonna write it down, because even if they have videos, even if like, it is impossible to videotape every single thing that you're doing, I know. But even if they do, we still have to say, no, this is not acceptable.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you bring that up, and I want to touch on that for just a second. And I really appreciate that you sharing that with us today. Because we're in unprecedented times, and this is something we can't ignore. When we go back into the marketplace, we have a lot of people that have been bottled up and insulated inside their homes. And I choose to use the word insulated instead of isolated, because I don't want to create a negative connotation that goes along with, excuse me, along with the stay-at-home mandates. But we have a lot of families that are just getting on each other's nerves, and they're getting on each other's edge because they've all been in such confined spaces. And so when you have a house cleaner come back, they are lashing out, and they're being unkind, and they're being, I don't know, just that bottled up, pent up, whatever they have going on. They're lashing out at the house cleaner. And I'm seeing a lot of that. There's a lot of frustration and a lot of anxiety. And so, Eloisa, in this particular situation, you had an opportunity where the client says, come in till 4:30. Oh, I really want you gone by 1:30 or 2 o'clock. Okay, at that point, the whole entire game changes. And so what you have to do is you have to go back to, and you might have to empower your employees to do this, but you have to say, we have to now rearrange in writing that you want us to leave. And I would have them sign your worksheet saying, I released you midway through the job. You check off what you did on that particular project. We only got through 2 rooms of your house, and you are now releasing us. Please, let's put that in writing, because we are about to leave, to honor your request so that we're not here when your customers come. Because they cannot call you back to do whatever is on the sheet if they signed it and said, we release you, we want you gone. And so right now, the kindness of our hearts says, well, I want to do right by the customer, but the customer did not do right by you. And like you said, they were emotionally abusive, where they said to you, oh, we want you gone, I'm changing the deal. Whoa. If you're changing the deal just changed. Let's get that in writing right now, because we are not coming back. If we leave right now, we are not coming back. We're getting our full pay for today because we are keeping our end of the bargain. You are the one that changed your end of the bargain. We still get our money, and we're not coming back to do the rest of the stuff on the checklist. Are you sure that that's what you want to happen? And I use this a lot. When somebody gives me that kind of, I'm going to call it crap, because it's not what we're expecting. It's not what we agreed to. It's off of the normal routine of what we've agreed. When somebody starts throwing stuff at me, I stop and I look them right in the eye. And your employees can be trained to do this as well. Are you sure that's what you want? Are you sure that's what you want? Is this your final offer? Is this your final agreement? Because if it is, then we'll pack up all of our stuff right now and we will leave, but you are the one that changed the agreement. We are still here to clean. And if they say, yes, I do in fact want you on, great. If you'll just initial it right here, we're out the door, we'll collect our pay, we're gone. Because you have to play by your rules as a business. You can't keep going back over and over again because they changed the rules. You have other clients to serve, right? And I hate the fact that they were emotionally abusive, because all that does is all of you guys that are pent up and you have your own frustrations and you feel sad and discouraged and whatever, you're out there putting your best efforts forward to try to interact with your clients, and you're getting just a bunch of grief, right? And so you can't turn around and expect to be strong for your employees if you're getting a bunch of grief from the customers, right? So more than ever, we have to have boundaries. And I know it sounds like they're going to give you a bad review. They might give you a bad review anyway. But so you have to come forward and say, listen, are you sure? Are you sure? Because if we pack up our stuff and we walk out the door, that's it for today.
And you know, I think I missed that assertiveness of charging the whole thing. I even gave them a discounted price to say, okay, we're done with you. And so I did exactly the opposite in that sense. But I'm taking note and I'm learning.
That leads me to a question we had that came in, and I want to address that real quick because that's along the same line. We had a customer, we had a house cleaner that went to a customer's house, was really excited about selling the new service that they're offering after COVID. And then when it came time to deliver the service, they lacked confidence to follow through. And so they canceled the service on the client after the client agreed to pay. And so the question was, where do I find the confidence to stand my ground and to know that I have what it takes to do my job correctly? And so it's a really fascinating question, but what it comes from is it comes from the inner confidence of knowing that you are in fact doing the very best you can, that you're doing your job. And I want to give you this illusion. To a fourth grader, a fifth grader is a genius. And so you may not know everything there is to know about the cleaning business, and you may not know everything there is to make the customer happy, but you know a little bit more than the customer themselves. That's why they hired you. And so what I really want to focus on is I want to focus on if everybody in this group, and this is the reason we created the Savvy Cleaner Network, so that you can come inside that group and you can find accountability partners, so that you can find other people and you can say, hey, listen, I just had this situation happen. What do you think about this and what would you do differently? We can start asking those kinds of questions inside our private group. This is not the big Facebook group. This is our private Savvy Cleaner Network group where we can ask questions about this happened to me during the week. And I really fell apart when I tried to deal with the customer. How could I have done it differently? And if we need to, we can jump on Zoom chats with each other and we can role play where you say, hey, listen, I'm facing a customer and these are the kinds of things they're saying to me, and have the other person respond to you in kind, and throw things like that at each other where you can start practicing these kinds of behaviors so that when you get face to face with a customer, you have the gumption to look them right in the eye and say, yeah, we don't do that. Sorry. And one of the things I love to do is I love to smile, a really sad smile. And I usually have some kind of a little voice inflection. It goes like this. And I like to just stop for a second and look at the customer. And all that says, I didn't agree. I didn't disagree. It's a facial, I don't like what's happening right now, right? It's just this moment of, and I wait for the customer to respond. Whenever you are silent, there's this moment of uncomfortness, okay? And so then somebody wants to hurry and fill the gap because there's this moment of uncomfort. Oh, did I make you uncomfortable? Yeah, you did. Why do I feel that way? I feel like you're trying to trick me. And they're like, and now you put them back on the spot. Now they got to come clean about what it is they're trying to do. Are you trying to trick me into a cheaper price? Are you trying to cut me down on price? What exactly is happening here? And so there are things you can do. I call them the 5 I heard yous, and I use these a lot. We'll go through more of this when we get to the walkthrough session, but I use these a lot in dealing with difficult customers like the one you dealt with, Eloisa, where the customer says something. If you agree, oh yes, it's our fault, we'll give you a discount. What you've done is you've just enabled them to bring you down again next time. So next time there's an issue of any sort, they now know, oh, all I have to do is like step on Eloisa and she'll cave, right? So you have to stand firm and you have to say, under all circumstances, this is my business and I'm in control. And so if you have to create an affirmation before every time you get out of your car, every time you pick up the phone, every time you talk to a customer, this is my business and I'm in control. All right, let's have that call. Hey, how you doing today? And then you can answer those questions with confidence. But these are the 5 I heard yous. Someone says something and you're like, oh, it's a very simple word. It's very, very simple. What it says is, I heard you. I did not agree. I did not disagree. I heard you. Keep going. And then they'll keep going. And then you say, I see. What does that mean? I see. It means I heard you. I did not agree. I did not disagree. I'm not coming down in price. I'm not caving. I heard what you said. People want to know that you heard what they said, right? So in this type of scenario, here's another one. They'll continue. Well, that's really uncomfortable. They just said, like, did they agree? Did they not agree? Maybe I should give them a little bit more. They will keep explaining. And you can do this over and over and over and over again. Here's another one. That's interesting. That's interesting. Well, this happened and that happened. And that's interesting. I heard you. I did not agree. I did not disagree. I did not take responsibility. I did not cave. I did not give you any discounts. I did not promise you anything. I heard what you said. And then they say something, you can always add in that, well, isn't that something? It's very neutral. Isn't that something? You can do a whole bunch of these over and over and over again. And I can't tell you how many difficult customers I've just gone the rounds with, around and around and around. And I use varieties of these different I heard yous so that they understand that I'm listening to what they're saying. And be very careful when you're doing this, that you don't nod your head yes or no, okay? If you're trying to sell something, you nod your head yes, like, well, that's a really great idea, right? And because you're nodding your head, it's instinctive. People will nod their head back yes, right? So if you're not agreeing and you're not disagreeing, you have to train your head to stay in one spot. You're not agreeing, you're not disagreeing, and you're not giving any discounts. So the customer says all these things and you say, I see. Huh, well, that's interesting. Here's another one. How about that? The customer can tell you all kinds of sadness. How about that? Now, the reason I bring this up is this. It's great with teenage children as well, just in case any of you have teenage kids. This whole I heard you thing. And it's really great with spouses that feel disagreeable. So there you go. You have a new set of skills now you can use for the rest of your life on all your friends, family, relatives, clients, customers, and kids. Does that sort of make sense, Eloisa?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other questions before we move on? Yes, Amber.
I missed the last group calling, but it's kind of some, like, you've been using, what is it? What are you putting in, like, your smoothie? Something about you bought at Costco or something to help, like, with energy or whatever? Because I've been trying to exercise more and do different things to try to build my energy, but also my physique. And I've been like, I made a smoothie, but I feel like there's some more things I should be adding. So I just wanted your input on that, and also the apple cider vinegar thing. I drink that too, but I just was curious about, that's the second question, about how much apple cider vinegar you put in your 16-ounce water bottle. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Okay, well, it seems like Shannon has an answer. Shannon, you're on.
Yes, I do smoothies, and or I buy the fruit and freeze it. And then we take all the fruits and then we add Greek yogurt, vanilla Greek yogurt, and protein powder. And we mix them up, and then we put them in Ziploc sandwich bags. And then we lay them flat in the freezer, and they're just like an ice pack for your lunchbox. By the time lunch comes, they're already defrosted. It's like a slushy type smoothie. They're really good, and it's really refreshing while you're working. So, but you can put in.
How do you eat it if it's in a bag?
Well, I put it in a cup. I use a plastic cup with a straw, and it just sticks right in my bag too on the side. I have one spot that I just keep for a drink. So, but I put it on the counter, or whatever, grab it, take a sip, go back. But you could put flax seeds in. Sometimes we do that. Just on a note, sometimes the berries get like stuck in your teeth, so you gotta just make sure if the customer's home, you're like not, have berries all stuck on your teeth. But yeah, but they work really well, and you just grab and go. And I keep a cup and a straw with the lid and the straw in my lunch box, and yeah, they're really good, and they give you a lot of energy in the middle of the day where you really don't have time to eat a lunch. So yeah, that's my take on that.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. If you go to the courses, in the sidebar of the courses, there's an orange download button. And in that download button, I do have the smoothie recipe there. You guys can download the smoothies. The long and the short of the smoothie is I take a blender and I fill it as cram full as I possibly can with spinach, just raw spinach leaves. Then I throw in 2 bananas in the top so that I've got a little bit of potassium as well. So I've got my greens and my potassium. And then I put in a tablespoon of chia seeds. Chia is the highest form of protein without eating meat. And so it gives you the protein throughout the day. I put in a tablespoon of acacia fiber, which is a tummy fiber that you can find like at VitaCost, or you can even buy it on Amazon. It's not whey and it's not soy. It's a tummy fiber that helps everything process through your body on a regular process. And so the other thing that I'm sorry?
The location, or what was it called?
ACACIA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Thank
it's just a fiber, and it's powder. It looks like maybe like baking soda, but it's not as gritty. Anyway, and then let's see, flaxseed. I put flaxseed in there. So there are a couple things that I throw in there, and I only mix it with water. I don't mix any milk or any of that stuff in it. And because I don't have any milk in it, it does not have to be refrigerated. And so I can just throw it in my car, and I don't refrigerate them and I don't freeze them, but you can. I just throw it inside I drink 1 16-ounce smoothie per house that I clean. And so I just suck on it throughout the day, where if I take a short break and I just feel like my energy is dipping, I will take a drink of that. And it doesn't have any sugar in it whatsoever other than the banana. And so as a result of that, it's not an energy high and it doesn't crash. You don't crash on it. But it's just a very, evened out energy throughout the whole day. Now, the apple cider vinegar that I'm drinking right now, I always drink down to the top of the label. And then I put 2 ounces. This is about 4 ounces. This is a 16-ounce bottle. I put in 2 ounces of apple cider vinegar and 2 ounces of lemon. I just fill the rest of it up. I fill the rest of it up half and half with apple cider vinegar. And it's the apple cider vinegar with the mother. That's the icky stuff. And so if you shake up the apple cider vinegar, it's all the sludge that goes to the bottom. Apparently that's better for you than the processed stuff. Mm-hmm. And the thing about the apple cider vinegar is this. For as many years as I've been cleaning houses, the homes that I go in, I'm very allergic to dust and ragweed and pet dander and all kinds of things that would make it miserable if you were a house cleaner. But the good news is I drink one of these every day, and I drink it especially, I find, when I'm on Zoom calls. It helps me a lot because if my voice starts to go, or if I start to cough, or my throat gets dry, in fact, I think I'll have some now. It relubricates my entire sinus cavity, and it just kind of pulls everything out. But the good news is this. I haven't called in sick in 14 years. My husband's on it. He hasn't called in sick in 21 years. So it keeps us from getting sick and flu and cough and sneezes and allergy season and all that stuff. So it's nasty. I don't like it any better than the first day I tried it. But it's
Angela, you only drink one of those a day?
I drink
like
one of
bottles?
the apple cider vinegar a day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But with the smoothie, I might drink 2 or 3 smoothies in a day, depending on how long my cleaning is going to be for the day. And I have drunk as many as 4 smoothies in a day, 4 of the 16 ounces. So if it's a really long day and you're on a marathon clean, that's the secret of the whole process, though, is you want to spread your energy throughout the day. It's like if you were running a marathon, you wouldn't eat a great big meal before you started. You'd eat little bits along the way to keep that energy going. And that's the whole concept behind that.
Angela, are you still cleaning yourself?
No, I actually sold my business at the end of 2015, but I'm on location 2 or 3 days a week training other companies. And so I will go in every day and I am training, and I'm back. There's not a day that I don't clean toilets and vacuum floors and whatever, but it's not my cleaning company. It's my cleaning company training other cleaning companies. And so let's show you how to do it. And I'll get right in there in the trenches with them. I get down on my knees, I'm scrubbing floors, I'm scrubbing the corners of things, I'm cleaning baseboards, I'm cleaning out tubs, I'm doing all that kind of stuff. So.
Oh, interesting.
Thank you. I have another question.
Yes.
Thank you for that, Angela. What kind of products do you use to clean the outside of the toilet?
The outside of the toilet is going to be a basic all-purpose cleaner. And so you're going to use something that's on a pH level between 6 and 7. So as far as have you gone through our chemical safety course?
Yes, and that's what I'm using. I just doubt myself because I had this confrontation with this client that wanted us to use the toilet bowl cleaner outside the toilet, and I said no.
Yeah, no.
We don't do that.
No. The pH of a toilet cleaner, and I'm talking about a serious toilet cleaner, is going to be between a 1 and a 2 on the pH scale. You don't want anything on the outside of the porcelain that's anything more than a 6 or a 7.
Exactly.
And so if you just use that regular bathroom cleaner, or I mean, you can use Windex if you want on the outside of a toilet. It's porcelain. All you're doing is wiping it down, right? And if you're going to disinfect like the handle and the top of the lid where someone might touch and that area around the toilet seat, of course you can the bathroom cleaner does all that. It's, and that's like a 6, I believe that's 6.5 or 7. So yeah. But yeah, there's no need to use heavy chemicals at all on a toilet once the toilet's clean.
Exactly, I agree.
Even
I
inside the
truly agree.
toilet, just
But
a little cleanser.
it really made me doubt myself. But I thought, well, we're disinfecting the inside. There is no reason to disinfect the outside, but to clean it and to remove any particles or whatever. And also, when I don't clean anymore, but I do train my workers now. But when we have that yellow ring around the toilet, then we use vinegar or even chlorine bleach because you want to make it white, basically, and take that the urine out of it. No.
The Odoban has a really great product as far as the odor itself goes. It leads me to another question. One of the questions we had that came in was, how do I get rid of old people smell? And the Odoban was designed for that. It was first and foremost originally designed to get rid of odors. And so they do have a disinfectant odor product. And depending on how you dilute it, you can literally go into a room and you can spray it in the air, and it will kill the germs that are in the air that have the odor attached. I mean, it literally kills the air. It's not masking it. It literally kills that scent. And so depending on how you dilute it, and that's all inside our course, but it's super cheap. It's like $11 or $12 for a gallon. I say it's super cheap. It's not super cheap during COVID. So, when everything goes back to normal.
Angela, is this the same disinfectant that a couple calls ago when that guy was on from Autoban?
Yes.
With the professional line of cleaners.
Yes.
There was that disinfectant.
Yes.
That's the disinfectant.
Yes, and it's not.
Right?
It is not on the professional line. It's just a regular disinfectant.
Sorry. Right, but we were kind of talking about the
Yes.
professional line of cleaners.
Yes.
And then the disinfectant. Okay.
Yes. Their Odoban product and that disinfectant is inside our course. But that disinfectant is like $11 or $12 for a gallon. It makes 32 gallons of solution that you can use to clean with if you're going to use it as a regular all-purpose cleaner. And then for a disinfectant, I think you dilute it differently. It's like 1 to 5 or 1 to 3 or something. I forget what it is, but you dilute it differently in order just to spray it in the air and kill the odors. But it works amazing. That's what it was designed to do. And it was designed.
I'm gonna have to try that. I have a customer that called me. She's like, "How do I get the boy smell out of my son's bedroom?"
It's great for people that have teenagers. It's great for college dorms. It's great for assisted living centers. It's fantastic. It's a great product. And I think shame on Autoban. Shame on them. They've got the worst marketing campaign in the history of the universe. They've been around for 30 years and their product is stellar, and they still have no idea how to market it.
And you know what? I placed my order exactly like 3 days after your class, and I haven't received it yet. They are shipping my product on July the 2nd.
They haven't shipped my
6 weeks.
Yeah, in a normal life cycle, and this is aside from COVID, in a normal life cycle, your stuff will be there the next day. They are incredibly prompt, and they ship it just like that. I mean, they're super fast, which is why I recommended them. I talked to Liz over at Odoban, and she said, "I'm so sorry. Right now, we are producing nothing but disinfectant. Nothing. All of their processes are working around the clock. They're only producing disinfectants right now." And I'm sitting here with my hands tied, going, "Well, how are we supposed to clean?" And you go down any aisle in any grocery store, and all the cleaning stuff is just gone. It's just gone. And I just sit here scratching my head, going, "Wow, I've never seen this before."
Yeah. Can I ask, in reference to that line of professional cleaners, which I did order, and I actually got the disinfectant. The disinfectant came, pretty quick.
Okay, good.
But I'm still waiting for the other pieces. But I didn't see a clear definition on which product to use for just hardwood floor maintenance, basic cleaning. Am I missing something?
No, it's actually not in the course because that is a product they've stopped making for now. They've got an amazing product. It's called pH Neutral, and it is an Odoban product, and it will reappear in our course the minute it's available again. But I call them every couple of days. I'm like, "When are we going to get our floor cleaner back?" It's an amazing product, just like the other products, and it also dilutes with the 1 ounce pump spray. It's just
Okay.
amazing.
Okay,
And then,
so that the video that he showed with the line of professional, because I think there's 3 of them, right?
there are 4 of them, and then he has a
Those are the
carpet one,
course.
but we don't have carpet machines that we're using,
Right.
so we don't. Unless you want to
Right.
buy that one and you want to use it in a spray bottle to remove stains, that's a good stain remover.
Okay. Okay.
And they've got 4 patents on that product. That product is amazing. But for general house cleaning, we don't have carpet cleaning machines. So.
Okay, so just to clarify, the products that we were shown and kind of talked about, none of those were the pH
no.
cleaner, right?
No.
Okay. Okay.
The floor cleaner, the floor cleaner is called pH neutral, and it is just for hardwood floors, and it's great for, check it out, it's great for like pergo floors and laminate floors, and it's just a pH neutral floor cleaner. So it will make your life.
Keep our eyes
Yeah.
open for that.
Yeah, the minute it's available, I'm going to be sending everybody like 10 texts. Like, hey, it's here.
Okay. So what would you, in the meantime, do you have a personal recommendation?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been using Thieves, and I also, Sam's Club has a pH neutral cleaner by Marks, I think is the company.
Yep, Maker's Mark.
Yeah, Maker's Marks.
Yeah, right now we're just using 1 drop of Sal Suds in your bucket. And the Sal Suds is a Castile soap. It is biodegradable. It's earth friendly. It is completely non-toxic, and it is a pH of 11 if you use it straight. But 1 drop in your mop bucket, it dilutes it enough that it's safe. Okay.
I've been using Sal Suds as a basic cleaner, but I haven't really used it for wood floors specifically. So
it's safe on wood floors, but I have to caution you. When I say a drop in your mop bucket, I literally mean a drop in your mop bucket. I don't mean a squirt. A squirt will totally leave soap all over your floor, and it will take seven moppings to get it up. When I say a drop, I literally mean 1 drop. Okay. And when you're in a hurry and you're like, oh, I'm in a hurry, and you drop it in and it turns into a squirt, the game's over. Empty your mop bucket out, clean your mop bucket, and start over, because it's easier than mopping your floor 7 times.
I use a flat mop, so I use spray bottles, and I have a spray bottle of like Thieves cleaner and a spray bottle of Sal Suds that look similar. And if I grab the wrong one, I can instantly tell, like when I'm mopping, you know, I'm like, oh, because I'll get suds, you know. So, but anyway, okay.
Sylvia, you had a question. I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, it's my first time here. Just signed up, I think 2 weeks ago.
Well, welcome. We're glad to have you.
Oh, thank you. So I have a question. We're in a bit of a situation. I was actually afraid you wouldn't have time for my question today. So we have 2 employees, 1 part-time, 1 full-time, and my husband is the one who cleans with 1 of them. And now we're trying to get out of him cleaning and just like managing everything. And so we had this opportunity of 1 of them driving and, you know, put them together and getting more jobs. But the thing is that we didn't know they had a family issue, both of them. And they don't like each other. Like, one of them is willing to forgive and the other is not willing to forgive or forget whatever happened between them. And right now, we wanted, you know, the nicer one to stay. If anything, if we're going to get rid of one of them, we want the nicer one to stay. And the other one's very professional, but she's been with us for 10 years already. We spoke to her, and she's the one who's not willing to work with the nice one. So we spoke to her and we said, you know what, so we're going to have to let you go because we really need to have someone working, you know, like independently, like with the other person. So when we went to talk to the other person, she was like, you know what, we have friends in common. And my husband is like, you're going to kick her out of her job. And now all the friends is going to be talking about us like we were mean. And if she leaves, I have to leave too, because my husband won't let me do anything. So I let the other one go, and now I probably won't be without anybody. So I haven't gone through the whole course yet. I don't know if you have a section where you show us how we hire, like effectively.
We,
So I
we
was
do
just
we do
wondering-
actually have a whole course on that, and we bumped that later to the year so we could bring some COVID related issues to the forefront.
Okay, so right now, do you have any tips like that we could right now use?
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that you are, and I'm just guessing, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing that there's an elevated level of stress right now in your business because
Yes.
you're trying to deal with a lot of pressure and noise around this employee situation. Is that kind of where we are?
Yes, and the thing is that they're the only 2 employees we have. And my husband is the one who cleans with them. I stay at home with the kids. It's impossible for me to get out. So it's really hard right now because if now the other person didn't return to me because I was trying to, like, okay, let's stay like this first and then I hire someone else. Now the person that I let go is not returning my calls anymore. And I try to be really nice with her, like I try to explain, it's your choice. You don't want to work, right? You don't want to work with her because I want you. Mm-hmm. You're the one who's choosing this because I need this to happen. And she said, no, I don't think I can do it. I'm sorry. So I said, you know what? So I'm going to have to find somebody else. Thank you very much. I wish you luck. And you're very nice. I like you very much, but this is what I need right now. And then when I went to explain to the other person, she's like, oh, my husband is going to kill me if I do this, because they were friends before, they came in, and then this just happened. So right now I need to find someone because I know the nice one is going to say, you know what, I'm going to wait until you, but she's not going to wait for too long.
Yeah.
So I need to find somebody else.
All right. So there are a couple of elephants in the room, and I'm going to just go ahead and bring those out in the open. And I know that we've gone on now for about an hour. So if any of you have to jump off the call, I completely understand. We are recording it. So I will stay on the call because I would like to get your questions answered. You're welcome to stay. You're welcome to go. It's not going to offend me either way, but there you go. Okay. So the elephant in the room. In the house cleaning industry, we get to deal with a lot of people that have PMS on a regular basis. Don't ask me why, don't ask me who's responsible for it, but their PMS is alive and well in the house cleaning industry. Whether it is us or whether it is our clients, there's a lot of friction. And so I have what I call my battlefield speech, and I give this to every employee the day that they arrive for their very first interview. I look them straight in the eye and I say, and in my ads, I say, we are a drama-free workplace. Okay, that is in my ads, we are a drama-free workplace. And now it worked so well for me over the years that even if I hire you now and you're working behind the scenes and you're doing computer stuff, we still have the same conversation. I run a business, not a battlefield. And if you show up to my business and you have issues with anyone else in the business, go outside and duke it out with the 2 of you. I do not want to know about it. When you come back, if only one of you comes back, that's great. I don't care which one of you comes back, okay? I'm not going to fight for either one of you. If you guys are going to fight in my business, take it outside and you guys figure it out. My business is to run my business. I am not here to solve problems that you bring with you, okay? So if you are a miserable person by nature, God bless you, okay? But when you arrive, leave it inside your car. Don't bring it in. Don't bring it into my customers' homes. Don't even bring it to work with you. Leave it inside your car and don't even get it close to us. When you leave at the end of the day, it will be there waiting for you, whatever those problems or challenges are. But if you bring those to my workplace and I have to make a decision, I will make the best decision with the information that I have, but it will be instantaneous. And it will be an immediate, I'm going to let you go, or you resolve it on your own. But if it gets to my attention,
Oh my goodness,
I will make an immediate decision. Now that sounds really, really tough, right? But here's what happens. People are like, oh, I can't bring that to work. No, you can't. From day one, I told you cannot bring that to my business. And I have to be very clear about it. And over the last couple of months, I've had an issue in my business. And I literally had to say to the person, it is not your work. I love your work. You are an amazing person. I am so pleased you're with the company. It is you. You have this weird energy about you that is so negative, I'm not going to deal with it anymore. So you have a choice. I'll accept your resignation by tomorrow morning because I'm not going to fire her because if I fire her, I got to pay unemployment. I will accept your resignation as early as tomorrow morning, and you go off on your own and you work as an independent contractor, or when you leave today, you say goodbye, and that's the end of our working together. But I will not tolerate this. And so the next day she came back with a resignation letter and she said, I want to work for your company. I still want to work for your company. Can I be an independent contractor? I said, I'm happy to do that. So now she works on her own terms and she does not bring that over. And she did show up for our Monday morning alignment meeting. We're doing our social distancing where everybody stands 6 feet apart. She showed up and she's like, is it okay if I come? I said, sure, you're still part of the company. You know, you're being paid differently, but sure. You got new attitude. Sure. Come on by. We'd love to have you. But you have to be firm on that. You have to be firm on that from day one, because here's the thing. Every single month, at least every month, there's going to be these weird cat fights and weird energy and bottled up tension and all this stuff. And even in our Facebook groups, there are people that disappear. They just disappear randomly. They're in the middle of a fight and they just vanish. Guess what? I just muted them for 24 hours. I'm like, PMS alert. And I got to put them on pause until they come back and they can be nice to people. People, well, I get 30, 40 messages. Why did you mute me? Why did you mute me? I'm like, that's why. Come back in 24 hours, take a deep breath. You can come back. You can be nice. We're good, right? It's not personal. It is not personal. And what you're going through right now, Sylvia, it is not personal. You love both of these people. You want them both to stay. But it is not your job to rescue your members, your employees. And it is not your job to manage their emotions. Okay, you've hired adults, they're responsible for their own emotions. And if they cannot show up to your job and they cannot get along, let them go outside and duke it out. And if only one of them comes back, that's the person you keep.
Okay.
But in this
If
business,
they both get out, what do I do right now? Like, that's the thing.
So that's
I was willing to keep the one of them. I would if it was up to me. But if one goes, the other goes too, because she doesn't want to be, because they're in the same community. They want to anybody talking about them. So
that is a challenge in the business. It's a challenge in the business because we have a rotating cast. It's almost like a TV show where somebody got killed off, right? We have a rotating cast of characters that come through our business. And so you have to be able to adjust and you have to scale back or scale forward or whatever. You might have a few customers that are kind of, I'm going to call them lazy daisy customers, where they don't really care if you come this week and they might cancel or they might be more flexible than other customers. And so those are the customers I call and I say, hey, listen, are you flexible at all? I've just lost 2 people. And I really respect it that you've paid our bills and you've had us on. I would love to have you as a client still, but right now I don't have the manpower. Are you flexible for a couple of weeks while I hire and train somebody new? Sure, take your time, that's fine. And we have those kind of customers that are more than willing to work with us, And so you might have to shuffle things around during the phase. But in my business, I always hire 2 people for the same job. And I tell them right up front, you're in competition with each other. If one of you falls out, the other person has your job. If one of you goes on vacation, the other one can cover for you. And I always hire in teams of 2 for that very reason.
So you do like a part-time?
I always start people out part-time for the reason that when you start in the house cleaning business, you do not have the physical energy to go from 0 to 8 hours a day of working. You just don't have it. And so after 2 or 3 hours, I'm so tired. And then after a week, they've burned out, right? Mm-hmm. So we start people, we build them up, we give them 1 house, and then we give them 2 houses, and not in the same day, but we give them 2 houses in a week. Then we give them 3 houses in a week. Then we give them 4 houses. If they can keep the pace and they feel like they're doing good and they can match the pace, then we say, hey, as much work as you're ready for. And there are people that very quickly, within about like 2 months, they're up to full-time. But that also gives you a small window where you can test their skills and you can kind of check in on them and you can kind of see how they're doing. And then as they build up momentum, you have the time to go out and get more customers that you can fill their schedule.
And is there a special platform that we can go to, that it's more effective to hire cleaning people that or anything like that?
So it really depends. I'm hearing some background noise. Is that me? Oh, There are a couple different places where you can find really excellent cleaners. If there's a military base nearby, you have a lot of people that are trained to clean. They're accustomed to inspections. They are accustomed to having very, very, on time and being efficient and all those things. Military people are fantastic for the cleaning business. The next group of people are people that go to your church. And here's the reason why. They're people pleasers. They volunteer, they are kind, they're compassionate, they believe in, goodness of all mankind and this kind of a thing. And they
But
are.
isn't there the personal relationship, isn't it bad for
How do you
business? Mean? Like hiring someone that well.
Oh my goodness, no! I hire lots of people that I know. The difference is you don't want to break down the professional boundaries. But I mean, right now, I have many of my neighbors that work for me. Most of the people that work for me right now are my neighbors. One lives 3 houses down, one lives 4 houses down, one lives across the river. I mean, they're all in my same space. They're all my neighbors. And so, yes, you can hire people that like, and trust. But the key is you can't let the barrier down. Like, so for me, I've worked for years in my own neighborhood. I've worked in the neighborhood next door to me. I have lots of neighbors that work for me now. And even now, here's the thing. I wear this outfit every day. I'm in my uniform. When I'm in my uniform, I'm work Angela. If you see me out in the yard and I got a ball hat on and my red shirt on, I'm in disguise. I'm clipping roses from my bushes or whatever. I'm your neighbor. Come up and chit chat with me. But here's the caveat. Do not talk to me about house cleaning while I'm out in my yard working on the roses, right? So it's compartmentalization so that we can keep those areas of our business separate. Because here's the thing. I'm sorry, go ahead, Amber.
I was just going to say it's just basically setting boundaries. In any relationship you have with people, you need to set boundaries and let it know what you will and will not accept. Because if not, people have the tendency of wanting to walk over you or try to change the way you're trying to do your business. So you have to have those boundaries and standards up front, and that shows respect and assertiveness as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's all I wanted to say.
The key is to be friendly, but not familial. And I mean that in a sense, like, don't treat them like they're your family, because families take advantage of us. They give extra, I don't know, they break the rules, like, well, I can't pay you this month, but I'm good for it. So, no, I don't. I still have bills to pay. And so I still need the money, even if you're my family, right? And that's why I say don't work for friends or family, meaning don't cross that boundary of them saying, well, listen, we've been working so hard. Why don't you sit down? I'll make you a sandwich and you can have some tea with us. And then you spend 45 minutes having tea with them and a sandwich. And then they get upset and they call you back because you didn't get the cleaning done, right? There have to be boundaries in place. So here's the thing, have sandwich and a tea with us. And I say, okay, stop just a second. Did you mean that you wanted me to end my cleaning, like what we're talking about with Eloisa earlier? Did you want me to end my cleaning right now and sit down on your clock and use my cleaning time to have a sandwich and tea with you? Because right now I'm work Angela and I'm still on the clock. Because I have another customer at 3 o'clock and I'm going to have to leave and I will not get to finish your cleaning. Is that what you're asking? Well, no, I still wanted my house clean. Okay, great. Pack up the sandwich. I'll eat it on the way to the next customer's house. Thank you so much. But it's that clarity. It's the boundaries over and over and over again. And what happens, at first, it's a little bit uncomfortable. Like, oh no, what if they think I'm mean? Okay, whatever. But what happens is this. They start, like Amber said, they start to respect you. Oh, she's running a real business. Here's what happens. Because Sylvia is running a real business, as her family, as her friend, as her neighbor, as her church member, whatever, I can recommend her because I know how she's going to act around other customers because I know how she acts around me. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. You're welcome. I really don't want you to get in a situation where you have to be the decision maker and the problem solver for the emotional angst of your employees. That is not that is not your job. That is not what no, I don't want you doing that. All righty. We have one more question. Unless any of you have other questions. Hugo has a question. Hugo, you've had your hand raised. Hi there. I can't hear you. You're still muted. I can see you, but you're muted.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi, I'm calling from Canada, in Calgary. So my question is, I have my home office here in the house. I work from home. And I've been interrupted by my family right now. Sorry first, because my English is not that great.
It's great. You're doing awesome.
So I feel frustrated because they think that I'm not working. That I'm just there and they can call me anytime, and they get upset sometimes with me because I don't pay attention to them. So I was thinking to rent some space outside, but since I posed my question yesterday, I've been thinking, well, right now I don't think I can do it. So what can I do in order for them to understand that I'm working when I'm here in my house? And I will take my voice from the call. I will put mute to hear your answer.
So let me ask you a question real quick though. How old are your kids?
15, 5, and my husband.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So here's my answer for you. 15, 5, and your husband. So I'm guessing that your husband or the 15-year-old can watch the 5-year-old while you're working. Is that a possibility?
No.
No. So the 5-year-old is always around. Is that true?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Then what we have to do in the very beginning is we have to create an agreement with the 5-year-old, that the 5-year-old understands that while you let him, let's say he's playing a game or he's watching a movie, you are allowing him to do that. By the same respect, he has to allow you to do your work. So there has to be an agreement between the two of you that you both understand. So when I'm working, you are allowed to do this, so that he's allowed to do whatever it is he is allowed to do while you're working. And so my suggestion is create very firm boundaries. And so in your business, like in my business, every Friday at 2:00, we turn off the phones. We're still here and we're still working, but that's my time in alignment meetings with my own team. And so I do not take any consulting calls after Friday at 2 p.m. I don't answer the phone Friday after 2 p.m. Our business is basically shut down. There are other people in our company that are working, but I'm unavailable Friday after 2 p.m. And so because that's on my calendar, everyone in my company knows that. And so can I get in touch with Angela? I'm sorry, it's after closing time on Friday, because if I don't have those boundaries, I don't get my own work done. And so I also work out of my house. And so what that means is if you walk up to the door and you ring my doorbell, I'm not going to answer the phone. You don't have an appointment. I'm not expecting you. I have a Ring doorbell. I can see who's there. But I'm not expecting you. I'm not going to answer the door. And so if I have, like, for example, we do the YouTube show. While I'm doing the YouTube show, I put my phone on mute. I'm not going to be answering a call in the middle of my recording because I have those boundaries in place. And so if you're working from your house, you have to have equal boundaries. And so your kids have to know during this time I'm at work. In order for me to work and earn money to put food on the table, here's what I have to do. And you have to have a set schedule. And my recommendation, I'm going to go one step beyond this. During especially the COVID crisis, you have to be on a schedule. One of the biggest problems we have right now, and it is industry-wide, is house cleaners are lethargic is the wrong word, but they feel really drained, physically exhausted, wiped out, depressed, sad, and I just don't have it to give. And it's across the board right now. Here's what happened. And I want to answer your question, but I want to answer it this way. As house cleaners working full time, we have a lot of energy. On a regular day, wearing our fitness trackers, we clock in between 20 and 40,000 steps on a regular day. And then suddenly, COVID, we're like clocking in 7,000 steps. And our bodies are like, wait a second, you need to get moving, right? That is our thing. We got to get moving. And we're not moving. And so our bodies are slowing down and they're winding down. And then we have all this extra stuff that our bodies have created, and there's nowhere for it to go. We don't have the same, we have more fuel than we have energy to burn it, right? And it's bogging us down and we feel lethargic and worn out. So we still have to get out there. We still have to do physical activity. So every single day, whether your kids are at home or not, you've got to arrange something so that you have you time. You have to get enough sleep every single night. You have to get up and exercise every single morning, even if you're not cleaning every single day. And then you have to have time to do your business. So even if you are working full time and you're out in the field and you're working every day, you still have to do marketing and social media and billing and accounting and hiring and all those things. That requires a couple of hours out of your day every single day. And you talked about going and possibly renting an office. That is a possibility, and right now more so than ever. I don't recommend it unless you have more than 4 or 5 people that work for you. Because right now you can work out of your house, you can use your own washing machine and dryer, you can store the chemicals there, and you can make it work. But it's going to be an agreement with your husband, with your 15-year-old, and with your 5-year-old that they either watch each other or they help each other, or you're going to have to do a co-share. And a co-share, we have a couple of people that work for me that do a co-share with each other. One of them comes in the morning while one of them watches the other one's kids. Then they swap and they go home at 1 o'clock. They go home and they watch the other person's kids because they're my neighbors. And then the other person comes in and they work from 2 to 5 in the afternoon. And so you might have to work something else like that where you have someone else watching your 5-year-old while you get some work done. And it might even be one of your new hires. Like we talked for a second about Sylvia, who is now in the process of hiring some new people. What if you hire 2 people for one job, but you don't have enough work for the second person? That second person then could maybe moonlight and do something different on the side. And I love to try this out. What other skills do you have? Do you know WordPress? Do you know social media? Do you know, can you do before and after pictures? Do you do graphic design? Do you do babysitting? What else do you do in the event that I don't have enough work for you? How can I still keep you employed? And so there are other things that as a business owner, you have to do. But if I can give 2 hours of my time to one of my employees that I'm paying for half the price, then that would make more sense for me to just outsource that task until I find the right fit. And I've had people bounce from topic to topic looking for their avenue of what they do best. We hired one girl and she just wasn't good at anything. And I didn't want to let her go, right? So I just kept trying to find different things that she was good at so she could stay employed. But if you're going to work out of your house, and I really recommend you do until you get about 4 or 5 people, there have to be those agreements and there have to be boundaries in place. Now, that said, and I want to step outside the box for just a second and contradict myself. If you're thinking about getting an office and moving outside, right now is an amazing time to do that, because during COVID, everybody just figured out how to work from home. And so right now there's a bunch of office space that is not being used. It is wide open, and there are people that are renting offices that they're not using. I wouldn't even offer to pay. I'd just say, hey, listen, what if I guard the property from vandalism and looting? If I go hang out there and I run my little office out of your business until I get my business back up off the ground and I can start paying you some rent. I don't have the money right now, but I can keep your property. I'm going to be there every day during the day. I can keep your property from being looted and just clean it up and make sure that it's maintained and all that stuff. That's called a barter agreement. It's a trade. I trade your empty space that you're not using in the back of your building to warehouse some of my cleaning chemicals. And in exchange, there's somebody on site every single day that's going to pull the weeds out in front of the building. I'll mow the little grass in front of it. You grab a little weed whacker or something. Make sure that nobody throws trash or whatever in the property. There's never been a better time ever to get office space for next to nothing than right now. So if you're thinking about it, but it has to be a place that has outlets for washing machines and dryers. Because if you have more than 5 people, then you start talking about all the laundry that you're going to be doing with the closets that you clean. You can run 3, 4, 5 washing machines out of a place, but it's got to have a water hookup. And you want a place with a dumpster, a place with regular trash pickup. You want a place that's preferably near, drive-by traffic. So as people drive by, they can see your signage out front. You want to make sure that it has, all the amenities, internet access, good internet access, that it's not in a dead zone of cell phone space, all that kind of stuff. You're welcome. I hope that helps a little bit.
May I add something?
Yes, please.
You will still need to deal with your 5-year-old son. You still need to find a person to take care of you.
Yeah, he can't come on jobs.
Yeah, I still send my little daughter to day home, but I cannot send her full time right now. So the days that she are here, I literally cannot do anything. So right now I am cooking instead of working in my business. So.
Well, and my husband during COVID assumed that because he was at home, I was going to make meals for him.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait a second. I don't make meals for you. Like I never did
Hey,
that
don't you-
before.
You don't cook, do you?
No, just because you're home doesn't mean I'm going to start cooking. Like, hello, no.
Yeah.
But it was a laughable conversation. We both had a joke about it. I said, you know, you're a grown man. You know where we keep the food. You know where the stores are in case we run out of food. You have a car. I trust that during this time, you're not going to go hungry. And I said, here's what I'm prepared to do. Because right now I get up every single morning and I pack his breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He works at a car dealership. And so he's gone all day from sun up until sundown. And I said, I'm still prepared to get up every day and pack your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I will do that for you at the top of the day during my regular schedule. Anything outside of that, you're going to have to figure out on your own. And then he's like, oh, okay. Guess what? He hasn't starved. He figured it out.
Thank you, Angela.
Angela, can I ask a quick question?
Yes,
before
please.
we sign off? Can you clarify on sanitizing? Because I don't advertise or market myself as disinfecting with anybody. I tell my customers, I use the word sanitizing and, you know, and so forth. And I understand dwell times and so forth. But I think I want to make sure, I guess, that I really am sanitizing, like light switches. I know you shouldn't spray the sanitizer, the disinfectant on like light switches because it can possibly damage the inside wiring, you know, and plus also it's a vertical surface. So all it does is run down the wall. So like right now, all I've been doing is spraying my EPA certified disinfectant on a microfiber cloth and just wiping down those light switches and electrical outlets, you know, or stuff like that. Is that good enough? Because I mean, I know that sanitizing, that a lot of the bottles of the disinfectants will say to sanitize, it needs to stay wet for like 60 seconds, 30 to 60 seconds. But you know, after I clean and I'm going through and just hitting some of those touch points, at this time, that's all I've been doing is just, again, spraying the rag, wiping down the surfaces, and moving on. Am I doing it right?
Yes. And
okay.
The answer to that question is it's going to come down to the agreements that you have with your customer. So you go to the customer's house and the customer says, oh, I'm so scared because of this COVID thing. What does that mean to you? Is there COVID inside your house? Well, no. Has anyone in your family been infected with COVID? Now, Marco's story is different because yes, they have.
Right?
So no, there's nobody in my home that has COVID. Do you suspect that there's COVID in your home right now? No, there's not. Okay, so what exactly do you want me to do while I'm here? Well, I don't know. You're the professional. What are you going to do? So what I'm going to do coming back, I would like to take an assessment of your home right now. I'd like to walk through and see exactly where we are right now and how the place has been maintained while we've been in insulation mode, right? I'd just like to take a look over, make sure that nothing has fallen through the cracks. And if there is, I want to make sure that I prepare enough time that we can cover that. Would that be fair? They go, yeah, that's fair. Okay, so while I'm here, what I'm going to do is all the regular cleaning that we always did, then I'm going to use a disinfectant and I'm going to wipe down. And the disinfectant is not, you're not disinfecting. Right? So you got to have the conversation about sanitizing and disinfecting. I'm not going to leave it on for 10 minutes. I'm going to use this EPA registered disinfectant that is also a cleaner here. I'm going to use it on my rag and I'm going to wipe down these high touch areas. And as you wipe them down, that's what you're doing. You're not spraying the doorknob because it's going to discolor the doorknob. You're going to take the finish off that bronze doorknob if you spray it, especially if you leave it on for a minute. So we don't want to damage any property, but having the conversation with the customer, if I wipe this down, is this good enough for you? Because you don't have the infection. I don't have the infection. I'm just here to clean. So would that be fair if I just wipe everything down with this cleaner? They're going to go, yeah, that's fine. All right, now you have an agreement with the customer. That's what you're going to do. That's what you expect. When you leave, you're going to sign your worksheet and you're going to say, I use this cleaner at your house and I hit all the high touch areas. And now that we've added them back to our worksheet, you will just check those off. I touched the light switches on the way out. I wipe down the handles on both sides of the doors. I wipe down the toilet handle, all the high touch areas in the kitchen, which are the refrigerator handle and the microwave handle and the dishwashing handle and all of those high touch areas, because that was your new agreement. And the wipe it down is the key. I'm going to wipe it down. That's all you're going to do. It's not, you're not spraying it. It's not going to run down the cabinets. Like I say, I've seen more damage since this whole COVID thing of people spraying stuff and then walking away and leaving it for a minute to 10 minutes. And you come down and the paint is off the walls and the cabinets are discolored, like etched where the stuff ran down. It's just, you can't spray stuff on vertical surfaces and hope that it's going to stay in one spot. It just doesn't. So the customer has to be aware this particular chemical behaves a certain way because of the pH of this disinfectant. So yes, it is an EPA registered disinfectant. If I leave it on here for a certain amount of time, we're going to have other side effects. Do you want the side effects, or do you want me to just wipe it down knowing that it's clean? The next person that comes in that touches the light is contaminated.
I laugh at that because I do, like I'll be spending time wiping down these high touch areas. And sometimes I do think to myself, why am I even doing this? Because they're going to come right behind me. And especially with families of kids, they're going to be touching everything. And all my sanitizing work is not going to be sanitized anyway.
Well,
but
it's
important to do.
I have a client. The other day I was with a client and we're in a locker room. And the woman comes in to do the cleaning and she goes over all the locks. And I said, so my curious question is, how often do you sanitize these locks? And she said, twice per shift. And I said, but nobody's come back to work yet. So what are you doing and why are you doing it? Well, because that's what they told us to do. Okay, so somebody's paying you right now and you're coming in twice per shift to wipe down all the locks on all the lockers, but none of the workforce has come back to work yet. So who's touching the locks in between earlier today and right now, right? So you have to have conversations that make sense because there's so much crazy stuff that's happening right now. And people bring me in, they're like, can you fix what we're doing wrong? Well, it's called common sense, right? But we have to have those common sense conversations with our customers. And it's the reason I made the video the other day about the doing the risk assessment, because what happens if you go to a customer's house and you are cleaning your way because of what you want to give them, which is what this company was doing in the locker room. They were giving the service they wanted to provide, but it's not what was needed. It's not what anybody knew they were paying for. There was no agreement. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have those conversations with the customers to make sure that you're all in alignment, because believe it or not, if you go through every single door, there are like 26 doors in an average house. And those doors are bathroom doors and closet doors and linen doors and the pantry doors. Those are interior doors of the house. If you clean 26 times 2 doorknobs, that's going to take a few minutes, right? That's extra time that you're going to be at a customer's house just wiping down the doorknobs. And so are you going to bill for that extra time? And there are a lot of people that are saying, well, I'm not going to bill any extra because, I don't want my customers to think I'm ripping them off. Okay, well, if you're there for an extra half hour because you're doing extra work, then you have to bill for that time. And so you have to have that conversation with your customer. This extra service provides an extra fee. And that's the reason why we say, especially for upsells, if it's not in my cleaning caddy, it's an extra project that requires extra equipment, extra PPE, extra training, and an extra price. I have to take extra time to do this. So coming back after COVID, it's a deep clean. And then moving forward, do you want all these high touch areas cleaned, or do you just want my regular maintenance clean? You would be amazed at how many people don't want to pay anymore. Just give me your regular clean. That's all I need. We're good. We'll wipe our own doorways down. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't go in and sanitize somebody's house because you want to do it. Go in and do it because they want it done and they're willing to pay extra for it.
Willing to pay for it. Okay. Yeah. That's where I'm kind of catching myself. It's like and I'm trying to watch my time because I am curious. How much am I spending extra? And am I doing it just because, I want them to know that I did it, but did they ask for it? And because I'm not charging them extra.
The most frustrating thing about being a house cleaner is this: when you go inside someone's house, your like your spidey senses come to action. And there are things that you see that need to be done. And you're like, oh, this is going to look so great after I do this. And then worse than that, oh, if I do this, I'll have the best before and after pictures, right? There are things that we want to do because that's who we are. But the reality is a lot of the customers are not paying for the extra stuff. And you have to be willing to go in. It's like going in and cutting up all the food and prepping it for a meal. And instead of actually making the meal, you turn around and walk away then, and then they're going to put the meal together themselves. And you're like, oh, I so wanted to make that meal. Yeah, you did. But that's not what they paid you for. They only paid you to do X, Y, Z. And the hardest thing a house cleaner will ever do is say, I did my X, Y, Z, and now I'm done. And we want to stay extra. Well, it'll only take an extra 10 minutes. It'll only take an extra 15 minutes. But you times that by 30 customers. And now you spent extra hours every week that amortized over the cost of a year. You've lost a week's worth of billable time in extras that you gave the customer that the customer did not pay for, right? And so I don't want to discourage you from doing extras. Your extras come on every job. We do a mulligan at every job that is something extra that is tiny. It takes like 30 seconds or a minute to do. It's tiny. It's not 5 minutes extra. It's not a half hour extra. Ever. It's short. It's sweet. It's right to the point. Boom. Yeah. And then when you get out of their house, they're like, wow, they arrived on time. They left on time. Yay.
Yeah.
And that they can recommend.
I was proud of myself today. A regular customer asked me to do an extra job. And I did. And it really did only take like an extra 15 minutes. And she is a customer that paid for me, that continued to pay me regardless that I was not there during COVID. And so, and she even offered to pay extra today. But, I told her, I said, you know what, today, I said, this is my gift to you. I said, but going forward, if you want to add these to your service, it's going to be an extra $10 or something. And so I was proud of myself. That was like the first time that I had actually said, you know what, this is extra. And yes, it is taking me a little bit of extra time. And so I need to charge that, and rather than just giving it as an extra every time. Mm-hmm. So, because I'm always like, oh, just throw it in. I'll take care of it. No problem.
Well,
like, no.
But that also makes people uncomfortable, believe it or not. When somebody just keeps giving you, and you want to pay for it, and they don't let you pay for it, then there's this weird imbalance. And then people get like all squirrely about it. If you say, oh, it's extra money, then they'll say, okay, great. I'm happy to pay the extra money. That's how you run a business. And they start looking at you then as a business, not just as this weird person that keeps giving them nice things that makes them uncomfortable and they don't really know how to deal with it. It's just a business. And I always go back to the HVAC guy, because I don't know about you, but the HVAC guys that we have that come, it's a very, clinical is the wrong word, but they just come in, they do their job, and then they're gone. There's no personality. There's no extras. There's no nothing. And I just think I'm so happy he came in, he did his thing, he got out, we're done. The end. I pay him the money, he's gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Because house cleaning are often people pleasers. We want people to like us. We want to do our best. We want to do right by them. We want them to live up to our expectations by having this beautiful, clean home. And oftentimes they're just paying for the basics. I had a guy the other day tell me, I do not want the baseboards. I do not want the blinds. I just want somebody to come in and pick up all the toys and clothes. Vacuum the floor if you get around to it, just basic stuff. Really? Okay. Like we can't clean the toilets as well? Really? Like mop the kitchen floor, wipe down the crumbs off the kitchen cupboard. Like, please, Yeah. It's whatever they're paying for.
Yeah.
All righty. Do we have any other questions? Are we good?
We're good.
Well, you guys have stuck here to the very end. Thank you so much. I appreciate this. I really, really enjoy our time together, and I really enjoy you guys being willing to show up on camera. It gives me a better feel for who you are, and I get to know you a little bit better. So this is.
I want to know, Amber, where are you from? Because I see you every time I'm on. Where are you from?
Sherry, I'm from Minnesota. I live in Hopkins, Minnesota.
Okay, very cool.
So where all the riffraff is going on. But that's
Oh, all right.
Have you been affected by that, or are you doing okay?
I have friends and stuff like that where they're teachers and different stuff like that where their schools got like looted and burned up and stuff. But no, I'm not really affected by it. I'm more in the suburb than the city. I'm like 15 minutes away from everything too. But yeah, it was interesting to go down there and see the memorial and see all the buildings and everything. It's been very interesting, but I'm happy to see that a lot of the communities and stuff has been coming together, donating. Been doing a lot of donations and a lot of trying to help out in the community when I can. And then I got other friends that do the same thing. And then there's a lot of cleanups and there's a lot of different things going on. A lot of people lost their houses. A lot of businesses are pretty bad off. So it's just been interesting. Been really interesting.
This year has definitely been an interesting year. Wow.
Yes, it has. And 2020
Well,
is 2021.
There you go. I just want to say you have a beautiful smile, and you're one that I always remember. Like when I think about getting on the calls live, I'm like, oh, I hope I see her face, because it's, you know, you have a beautiful smile. So
Yes, you do. And thank you for giving back to your community. This is a really difficult time right now, not just with the COVID, but with the riots and everything else that's going on. This is just a really difficult time across the board right now for businesses, for individuals, for families, for neighborhoods. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening this year. And I do think, like Cherie said, this is a defining year. I don't think anybody in this generation right now will ever forget 2020.
No.
Definitely not.
Babies being born and stuff too, so that's gonna be interesting when they get to of age where they're like, I was born with all this mess going on. So yeah.
Well,
yeah.
one of the interesting things, and I don't know that COVID is going to go away anytime soon, but we know now at what level the world is willing to shut down, and that has never happened before at this level. And so now it's kind of like, wait a second, they can switch that switch at any time and make everybody stay home again. What happens next? You know? And like we've already seen with everybody racing through, buying up all the cleaning chemicals and all the toilet paper and all the everything, that could happen all over again. And so what happens now as far as preparation and food storage and all that kind of stuff moving forward? And when everything comes back to, I'm going to say sort of normal, do all the house cleaners run out and stockpile stuff? Because we know that like the lifespan of cleaning chemicals are 18 to 24 months. What happens if you have 3 years worth of cleaning solutions and then you don't need them? You know what I mean? What happens? Anyway, so we are in unprecedented times, and I've never seen anything quite like this at this level. So it's fascinating.
Definitely.
All righty. Well, I'll let you guys get back to your day. Thank you again so much. This was awesome. And I will see you inside the chat rooms, inside the Facebook groups.
All right. Thank you.
All right. You guys take care.
Have a good day, Shannon.
Thank you. You too.
See you, Shannon. See you, Hugo.
Hi, everybody from Canada.
Oh, bye, Hugo. I see you're still on. Bye.
Bye.
You still have your hand raised. Did you have another question, Hugo?
No, I'm sorry. This is my first time doing it, so maybe I did some.
No, I didn't know what the hand meant. And we went on another call and somebody had their hand up the whole time. And I didn't know that they were raising their hand. I thought it was just like something cute that they added, like an emoji. And so at the end, they're like, you never answered my question. I'm like, I didn't know you have a question. And they said, my hand was raised the whole time. I'm like, oh, that's what that meant. I didn't know I was supposed to like call on you or something.
We are all learning something new today, so.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And I will see you guys inside the chat rooms.
All right.
Sure, thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.